My name is Reverend Gerard Cantolupo, Jerry Cantolupo. I'm the co-executive director of the Hicks Bond Street Community Action Group. We work extensively in community organization, working in the courts and also in the streets at the housing projects, with the gangs and with youth at risk generally. Encouraged recently by the election of our President Barack Hussein Obama. Be mindful that he was a community organizer, and be mindful that his campaign contained those elements in his reaching out to the people. I feel that his election offered a great sense of hope to all community organizers, to all people in urban centers, but perhaps even more significantly in the global arena for world peace, being mindful the first act he did as president was to give an interview, to interact with the Middle Eastern press and to reach out to citizens of the countries of the Middle East to afford them the vision that they could receive a better standard of life, a better access to education, and to bring them into a dialogue. So very confident that I've preached sermons where I've said perhaps he's too good a person, that we as a people do not deserve him. I was very impressed that a month later, Evan Thomas of Newsweek had an article, "The Problem is Us," looking at a challenge the American people have to look at the world and to understand those elements, the other as I call it, people, whether they be a young person in Iran who's making a choice between joining a madrasa to be a terrorist or a narco group to be involved in international drug dealing. We have to offer them some other choice. And in the cities and in the areas we live, the single mother, the youth at risk, Center of Disease Control chronicles the challenges to the American family. We have to offer them a measure of hope. In that sense, I've always recalled what Spike Lee has said in his documentary film, The Four Girls, dealing with the four girls who died in the church bombing in Birmingham. He said that many of us have made it over the wall into opportunity, but we don't seem to want to throw a rope to the other side to help others. So I think that there's a challenge for all of us. I find it in my work. But there is that captivity of the light which contains hope, which has given us a sense that under the new administration and perhaps a broadening of compassion, we can achieve that which has not been achieved before, the construct of the community of love. And that's what I am committed to and will work for. Amen.
Amen. And I just have one question. Why is it that you think that human beings, once we reach a certain point in development or
and the struggle was for so long, we're talking about over 200 years in this country where people fought to get their families, conditions, and access to equality. So we have to render an understanding to that. I wouldn't demonize anybody in this situation. I think we want to bring into public consciousness the fact that we must help others. Out of sight, out of mind, Dr. King once said. But he also said, any injustice committed against anyone anywhere is an injustice committed against everyone everywhere. So I think it's not a question of people being insensitive. I think it's a temporary, I hope, losing consciousness of what's needed. And I think leadership, whether it be in a church or in government, is necessary in order to bring about the changing community so that we not only throw the rope over the wall, but we go back there to stand with the brother and sister who needs a helping hand up.
Also, I just want to go back to that statement earlier when you said that you believe President Obama is too good for this country. I think that's the way you stated it. Can you go a little bit deeper into that?
I think that he's been criticized very broadly that he should have been more involved in the healthcare issue. He should have twisted arms. He has to learn to be tough. There's even people that have said he doesn't have the necessary toughness. I think that when I say he's too good for this country, we lose sight of the fact that he's trying to bring us back to what a previous president, President George Herbert Walker Bush once said, we need a kinder, gentler nation. Mm-hmm. So I think when we get to the point as a country where we're saying that he seems to be too understanding, too willing to dialogue, that he doesn't offer the opposition, that we're losing sight of the fact that we, as Lyndon Johnson once said, come, let us reason together. I think he's trying to raise us to a higher level, and if we don't get it, well then I guess he's too good for this country, because he's offering us an opportunity that my prayers include. We're at a vital crossroads now in terms of personal responsibility. I think many people are happy with the election of Barack Obama, and I think we all understand the idea of a community being more responsive to the needs of people. We all understand the economy is bad. There's need very often for retraining. It's very difficult for those graduating college to get jobs. But we have to stop being observers. We have to actualize what we voted for in the person of the President, Barack Hussein Obama. And what we have to do at the local level is be very, very visual, very vocal, and we have to take responsibility in our own lives, whether it's through a health plan, whether it's through personal care, but certainly through empowering the thought processes of those in government to allow them to know that we want to support people who are going to be in sync with a community of understanding, responsibility, and of mutual respect. And I believe that if we don't take action, the opportunity will be lost, and this may be looked upon as a time where we had a president who had a great vision and fought for it in an idealistic, courageous way, but unfortunately he had a population that sat back in dread